urgent discussions are taking place to create safe dispersal corridors for the endangered population of jaguar in the Cerrado biome of Brazil. The habitat of native vegetation is also being lost through the rapid expansion of agriculture and livestock industries. The world is on the brink of a nutrition crisis. Pacific children living on the front lines of the COVID-19 pandemic and the climate change crisis are most at risk, particularly in countries like Fiji and Papua New Guinea. Each year, the US population grows by more than 1.7 million people. Each person, statistically speaking, requires an additional acre of land and highway. As such, the concerns for greater deforestation continue. Welcome to this week's Prime8 News, where we will be listening to a special report from Wanda Whale. Wanda is Prime8's resident expert on seas, oceans and waterways. During a break in filming for Primasia The Birth of Primopolis, Wanda has now returned from a global updating mission. You may recall that I mentioned my telescope here a couple of weeks ago. Well, all will shortly be revealed. I think we can find Wanda at her deep retreat.
Hey, Professor Prawn. I have the report here that we discussed this morning.
Excellent, Wanda. I think we should start by explaining what you've been up to using the data compiled with the use of my trusty telescope. Isn't she a beauty? Looking up at the surface of the sea can be both upsetting and exhilarating.
Sure thing, Professor. Hang on. Let me switch my PrimePad video on. I don't find it that easy with my fins. Here, take a peek inside my retreat. Here I have created a chart that indicates the cargo routes across the world's seas and oceans. If you look carefully, you will see the routes that are currently used by some of the members of the Sail Cargo Alliance, for example.
Yes, indeed, Wanda. I understand that we picked up the speed differentials and vastly lower polluting emissions from certain vessels.
Tall ships are commissioned to transport special cargo across the globe. You can see their routes indicated in green, Professor. I love them. Reminds me of when I watched Poldark back in the land of humans.
Fabulous, Wanda. Encouraging signs in the land of humans, at least. I recall the mighty Simon talking about the different desire for food movement in the land of humans in episode 3, which impacted on their need for complex packaging.
Yes, Professor. This sadly also has a terrible impact on occasions worldwide. Here's a snippet of Richard Branson's piece that featured in episode 4 of the news.
And without a healthy ocean and without an agreement on how to protect large areas of it, we are waging a huge gamble on the future of our children and grandchildren.
I remember this all too well, Wanda. So, what have you seen on your travels recently, and what can be the consequences?
I have seen many terrible things. It concerns me that so many of those living in the land of humans do not relate to how litter they see on land, in rivers, on beaches, can eventually end up elsewhere. During several case studies undertaken between 2016 and 2020, it was concluded that 80% of the litter in the world's seas and oceans were made up of plastic. The other 20% was vastly made up of metal.
Dear me. Terrible, Wanda. Terrible.
Here, Professor, take a look at this poster we have created for the land of the humans. It shows the unbelievable information that relates to everyday items. Cardboard, for example, can do considerable damage during the time it takes to decompose.
Goodness, yes. I could not agree more.
Talking more about plastic, Professor, It's important to remind our viewers that petrochemical products never truly break down and will remain in the environment forever.
Indeed, Wanda. Quite right. A serious message indeed. Tell me, are you recruiting our team of roving reporters to expand our knowledge of world events and support Big Tick?
I am, Professor. Here was a previous report from our Oceania reporter, Paula Parrotfish.
UNESCO has announced that there is still much to be done to improve the health of the world's oceans. Whilst it is clear that improvements have been achieved in some areas, there remains concern that a huge amount of polluting waste is affecting oceans in many locations.
Fantastic. She looks almost as professional as me. Oh, great work. I've sent a message to Wendy Rass, asking her to join the news team as per your recommendation. Well, bye for now, Wanda.
See you, Professor.
This week's word of note is marine, an adjective meaning of or pertaining to the sea or ocean. Please remember to leave your comments on topics you would like us to investigate. You have been watching me, Professor Patrick Prawn, with this week's Prime8 News. Time for me to contact Prime8 again. Find out when we will be able to announce the release of the Birth of Primopolis. Oh, how I look forward to that red carpet moment.